Hi, it's me again, Iris, your favorite widow. um, I just wanted to use this opportunity to talk to the widows and widowers with children, young children. Just very quickly, a little history. My husband transitioned or passed on while I was on maternity leave. I was actually 33 weeks pregnant with our son, our second son. So, um, these are just some of the things that has helped me, and not just myself, my children as well. And one of the biggest things was getting my children a support system beyond myself. A very good friend of ours found a local youth bereavement group for children who has lost a parent or a sibling. And the reason why is because my children weren't able to verbalize what they were feeling. Just mild, acts of disobedience against rules of the house that were in place prior to my husband passing on, um, were happening. And because I was grieving, I wasn't necessarily present. Um, to describe the process I was in at that time, that mindset I was in at that time, I should say, is I was in subconscious mode. I was physically there. I was going through what I call foggy brain, and I was in the yes mode. So a lot of like I said, they weren't major, acts of disobedience or anything like that, but these were known rules of the house prior to my husband leaving. So it would just sometimes some things were just easier just to overlook, and some were just as easy to just say yes. And then that became a problem because that's not, from what I have learned, not isn't what they wanted. They wanted me to be present. And I just want to say this because I wrote this down. When I mean by present, I mean by make it your business to listen to your child. And for me, that means rest your body and soul next to them and listen to them. That way you're consciously there, you're spiritually there, you are there physically, and that is what we were missing. So let me say that again. Make it your business to listen to your children. I mean, rest your body and your soul next to them and listen, talk with them, with them. Now, I will say one of the reasons that I really encourage seeking, grief support for your children. It helps them organize their feelings. First of all, it helps them to identify, to organize them, and to show them a healthy way of expression. And believe it or not, my children, I was able to get my children therapeutic, support for their grieving process before I even acknowledged that I needed help. So looking back in hindsight, while they were doing their support, during their time, they were there. It actually helped me. When they would come home and they were just so, they had this element of joy that I was like, wow, this is good. And it vibrated toward me. And they would talk, my children would talk to me, well, hey, Mom, we should probably do this. So their confidence began to build. Their joy was growing, and so it was a great experience for all of us involved. And I wrote some notes, so this time I could be a lot more prepared. And then make sure to, like I said, make sure you adhere to any household rules. I know that the rules have changed because your situation has changed now that your spouse is not with you. So make the necessary adjustments as needed. you know, and every action require a reaction, and for those reactions that calls for you to to be a lot more um, firm, lovingly guide them through that process, you know, um, because it's going to happen. They're going to act out, So um, be encouraged that one, be present, listen to them. Two, hold them accountable for their actions, and then three, whatever reaction, just lovingly work with them and walk with them through the process. All right. And then also, if you need help in that process, seek the help that you need. All right. And also, depending on the age of your child when their parent passed on, the grieving process may resurface again. This is something that happened. I was at a silent auction event where my children were attending the grief support services, and a returning participant. He was about 19. He was there. He actually submitted an item, for the silent auction and fundraiser. And I was sitting at the table with him, and he was talking to one of the younger participants currently in the program, and he was saying when his father passed away, he was about 5 years old. So when he was participating in the program, coming there was fun, and it wasn't until he said about I guess about 8 or 9, when his mother put him into baseball, and he really felt the absence. And then absence, unfortunately, can be felt as a form of abandonment, which a deceased parent has not abandoned their child; they're just absent. And he stated that that's when his grieving process started. So if you get a little overwhelmed and you feel like your child should, like, hey, you should be over this by now. No. Be patient, be loving, be understanding. I would say, that's why a professional is able to look at the whole story. So, therapy is key. Getting it out. I say in a lot of my videos that pressure will bust a galvanized pipe, so it can wreak havoc on the human body and even a child. So if the grieving process resurface again, that's okay. Because guess what? The steps of support, of healing. So be encouraged. It gets better. And be intentional on gaining your joy, your peace back. All right. Love you guys.